Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Stiller.
They asked me to come out here and tell you a little bit about the history of Star Trek, the juggernaut that launched a 30-year... I'm sorry. I feel a little stupid here. They didn't ask me to do anything. I asked them, actually. I begged them to let me be here because I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I mean, I can't believe I'm even sitting here in the same room with Mr. Sulu. I'm sorry, forgive me, Captain Sulu. I mean, as a kid, I grew up alone, totally alone, and I didn't have any friends, but there was always Star Trek, and kids at school used to make fun of me. Ooh, look at the Trekker wearing his silly pointed ears. It's Trekkie, okay? But I didn't let it bother me because I knew every night when I'd go home, there would be a certain vessel of the Starship Cruiser class, NCC 1700 series, that'd be waiting for me, waiting to dock right up here and take me where no man has gone before. Star Trek really was my best friend, and I took the time to learn everything about it. I studied the ins and outs of the Enterprise. I got the Starfleet Manual, the Concordance. A lot of people don't have any idea what a Jeffries tube is. I made it my business to understand. And as Star Trek continued to grow, I grew up too. The new shows happened. I really wasn't into the new shows. I mean, Deep Space 12 and My Generation, wonderful, incredible stuff. But I'm a purist. The original 79 episodes, the original aliens, the Gorn, the Mugatu, the pig-faced Tellarite. Okay? How about the librarian, Mr. Ataz? Mr. Ataz, the librarian, A to Z. I got it. Yeah. I think my favorites, though, were the rogue band of space hippies that beam aboard the Enterprise in episode 75, Way to Eden. All right, does everybody remember Adam with the curly blonde hair and the thigh-high boots, playing that funny little stringed instrument, serenading Captain Kirk? Stiff man putting my mind in jail, and the judge bang the gavel and say, no bail. Gonna lick his hand and wag my tail. Herbert, Herbert, Herbert. We reach. This is just Bones, Kirk, Scotty. I know you have real names that escape me at this moment. I can't believe it. I mean, you guys were my extended family. You taught me the facts of life. I can't tell you how many times I go through a time portal, meet a girl, fall in love with her, come back, she's been dead 100 years. You guys taught me how to deal with that. I mean, God, I learned how to fight watching Captain Kirk. Oh, that move, I love it. And now, as an adult, I realized that, Star Trek wasn't conjectured in fantasy, but was based and grounded in a reality of simple truths. And it saddens me that to this day, we can't all follow its edicts of peace and care for our fellow man. And I know, by the way, I'm not supposed to get political here, okay? But, the reason this country still has not switched to dilithium crystals as a form of pure, cleaner, and yes, cheaper energy is beyond me. And Scotty can back me up on this. The big three oil companies know what's going down, and they refuse to acknowledge it. That's all I'm going to say about that. All my life, people have made fun of me because I was a Star Trek nerd. Well, here I am, they look at me and they say, what is it going to get you in your life, right? I share the stage with the entire cast of Star Trek and Kenny G. Who's the nerd? All right, it's really been a pleasure to be here, and I'd just like to leave you with this brief history of Star Trek. Thank you. Take a look.
They beamed in from nowhere, but we knew them right away. The daring-do captain, his loyal sidekick.
I cured it.
The crusty, warm-hearted doctor.
You're out of your Vulcan mind, Spock.
And a Mr. Fix-It.
6. Try her now, Mr. Kyle.
What we didn't know, and couldn't resist, was where they were going to take us each week. In 1964, Lucy and Desi's studio was looking for new shows to peddle to the networks. When in walked a freelance TV writer with a quirky, offbeat idea. Gene Roddenberry pitched it as Wagon Train to the Stars, set in the 23rd century. The pilot featured a Captain Christopher Pike and an overly angular alien.
You're not speaking, yet I can hear you.
You will note the confusion as it reads our thought transmissions.
All right, then, telepathy.
Too cerebral, said the network. Give us more action. This time, Captain James Tiberius Kirk commanded the first ever multi-planetary, multiracial crew to hit the galaxy. And for the first time, the future looked really groovy. In September 1966, the voyage began, with hope for the future.
I think that one day they're going to take all the money that they spend now on war and death.
And make them spend it on life.
Yes.
It was a cartoon epic, with all the thrill of an old-time Saturday morning serial.
Spock! What are you?
I am the guardian of forever.
Never mind the unusual costumes or the special effects on a shoestring budget. It was all the more endearing for trying.
You now have 7 minutes left.
We went willingly wherever they wanted to take us. And where they took us was to the really big stuff. The H.G. Wells kind of stuff. With questions about time, morality, mortality, and our very existence.
We have here an unusual opportunity to appraise the human mind, or to examine, in Earth terms, the roles of good and evil in a man.
Nothing but trouble from the Nielsen's. Bad time slots, network disinterest, Romulan plots, whatever. The show just couldn't climb out of the ratings basement. Nearly 1 million pieces of pleading fan mail got the show a 1-year reprieve, but the network execs finally shut it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to the low Nielsen ratings, we at NBC have decided to, unfortunately, cancel Star Trek.
Set Pages is stunned. Fire! Nothing's happening, Jim. I can't understand it.
Oh, and look, boys, you'll do me a favor and return these things to the property department, okay?
But there turned out to be an alternate, unexplored universe called Syndication. In it, the original 79 episodes lived long and prospered. Star Trek snowballed from a phenomenon into popular myth.
Hey, he's a man from outer space, and we're taking him to his spaceship.
Well, can't he just beam up?
This is reality, Greg.
Captain, Klingons off the starboard bow.
Again with the Klingons. Mr. Scott, give me full power.
It's not good, Captain. I cannot reach the control panel.
The myth was never far out of reach. It even became reality. In 1976, NASA paid its respects to Star Trek, naming its prototype space shuttle the Enterprise. 10 years after the original series was canceled, Star Trek the Motion Picture made its debut. Roddenberry's idea would be the cornerstone of 7 more motion pictures and 4 television series. In the Star Trek universe, there will always be another place to explore, another part of ourselves to discover.
Course heading, Captain.
Second star to the right. And straight on till morning.